So right now, the main goal and the only focus is to focus on getting the 1988 LS swapped Honda Accord to that finish line. We want to get the entire car painted before we know it, and to do a color change is a really long process, and that process, the only way to get it done is by just going one step at a time. So in this video, by the end of the video, the main goal is to have everything jammed out. The car is going to be blown apart and somewhat put back together by the time we're done. Maybe not 100% put back together, but by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what color we're gonna do. You'll see the color, the jams will be done, and we'll be making a lot of progress. Lots of progress in all these videos, man. We're doing really good.
And now, you're watching the childhood memory / PTSD that is your father asking you to hold the light for him in the garage channel of YouTube. Welcome to Bodie Vision.
So what is up and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on yet again another video. So right now, the first thing that I want to get into, since the car has already been primed once, I got primer on everything. Now I want to go in the back and I want to seam seal that little edge from when I cut the rear fender arch. I had to make that bigger for the over fenders to fit the tires as low as we were going. So I want to go ahead and use my seam sealer. I'm going to run some fine line tape, then some regular tape beyond that, then run the seam sealer, run my finger across it. You'll see all that, and then once the seam sealer is done, we're going to focus on blowing apart the entire car. The fender's got to come off so the doors can come off. Luckily, the door panels already came off. There's some wiring that's going to have to come out of the door. At this point, we are moving right along. Now that everything's off the car that's going to be off the car for me to jam it out, we're going to be doing both doors and the rear trunk section. Now we need to focus on cleaning the sections that I'm going to be painting. Now these sections of the car are known to get really dirty because they're never washed. So this dirt is pretty bad. The way that I'm going to go about doing this is some wax and grease remover and just a maroon scuff pad. It doesn't have to be crazy perfect like what you're doing if you're doing the body of a car. I'm not worried about 223, 2600, any of those grits. I'm just taking my maroon scuff pad, scuffing the surface, cleaning it with some wax and grease remover, doing that a couple times, wiping it down, making sure that it's nice and sanitary and ready to go. And then we're just going to go right into our sealer, base coat, and clear coat, but we'll get into that when we get there. getting masked off, cleaned off, as well as it's going to get cleaned. We are looking good and ready to go. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're just going to go, I have this sealer right here. This is going to mix with hardener as well as reducer. I also wanted to mention too, between some of the clips, I ended up completely repriming the car, or all of the areas that needed it, and it looks really good. But I showed you me priming in the last video, so I didn't want to just bore you with footage and whatnot of me doing the same thing that I was doing prior. So as you can see, it's all looking really good. A bunch of this had to be body worked again. Now how I'm going about doing this is the entire car was reprimed for hopefully the last time. Now I haven't touched it since it was primed, but I did scuff this rear area right here because I'm going to get some base coat over there, and I don't want that to land on an unprepped surface. So base coat is going to go out this way, it's going to come out this way, as well as clear coat. But then I'm going to sand down the entire car with 600 before it's completely painted. So anything that overlaps, I don't have to worry about getting rid of it completely, because it's just going to be the same color that's going to go on top of it anyways. And even if it was a different color, it wouldn't really matter, so long as it's all prepped, uniform, and one consistent surface, and that surface is 600, then it'll be ready for the entire car to be painted. In a couple of videos from now, you'll see how it looks. The doors will be back on, and there will be color overflowing from the door jamb and color overflowing from the trunk, which is completely normal. That's just how I do it, and it ends up working out just fine. So let's get into it. White sealer, that beige desert sand base coat, the same color as the engine bay. A lot of people ask me what color the car is going to be. It's going to be the color of the engine bay. And then we're going to throw 2 coats of clear coat on top of that. Let's just mix up the sealer, man, and get started. Sealer. Also, too, this sign, a couple people asked me about it. That's the actual street that my old shop was on. Somebody had ran into the stop sign, and I didn't take anything. I don't know where it came from, but that's the street. But that's the street that the old shop was on, so I felt like it's pretty cool to have a little homage to the old shop. So this sealer actually mixes with a hardener and a reducer. Now with a product like this, if you're just getting something off the shelf from a paint store, exactly like what I did, you can have the guys there throw it on a mixer, and it would save you some time. I didn't do that. I should have. Now I'm gonna have to sit here and mix this, which is all good. All right, I'm gonna get this mixed up and then lay it down. Jam session, having a good old time. This is my idea of a jam section. We're just painting some door jams, jamming out over here, doing what we gotta do. Now, one thing that I want to mention, one thing that has helped me a lot throughout all of my paint jobs is once you think you're done with your base coat, well, once I think I'm done with my base coat, because when I think that I'm done with the base coat, I'm not actually done with it. What I want to do, turn off all your lights, grab your sunlight over here, your sun gun. Now this might sound kind of silly, but it helps me out so much when I'm painting. When you're done with your base coat, or like I said, when you think you are, turn off all the lights in your spray area, in your garage, in your booth, whatever it might be. grab your little sun gun right here, go around and look, and you will be absolutely surprised at all the areas that you thought you had complete that you actually missed. For me, I thought it was good, but there's little cracks and little areas that just remain. Like my perspective right here, this edge is always dark. It's always a shadow no matter what I do. Even if I look like this, because the light is coming from up top, it's still casting a shadow. In that shadowed area, I'm not able to see very well, so it looks like it's good. When I turn off all the lights and I control the light that I'm using to look at it, this whole under edge was just speckled with my base coat, and it was still really light and white from that sealer coat. So that would have been an area that would have looked really bad once you get the car out in the sunlight, or just any other kind of anywhere where it's not in this type of lighting, meaning anywhere that's not in here, would make it look bad. So that's just a little pro tip. So now I'm gonna go to bed, figure out what we gotta do first thing in the morning, and just go from there, man. Good old time jamming out Saturday night. Proper. That's the first major step of any color changes. You gotta address the stuff that sets it apart from a color change and not a color change. And not a color change, I wouldn't worry about the jams. On a color change, if you want it to be proper, obviously you gotta worry about the jams. There's nothing worse than a green car with red jams or a purple car with blue jams. It just looks horrible. You gotta do the jams. But anyway, since it is the weekend at the time that I'm filming this, we want to turn our attention to a little bit of a shop upgrade project. As I've been doing, I'm not going to dedicate an entire video to this. I'm just going to slap it on this video right here, right now. So what we want to do, the workbench that me and my father completed last weekend, we want to put cabinet doors on it. I'm going to go with a burn finish on it. We're going to clear coat it. I'm just going to put some white plastic on the top. I don't know exactly how I'm going to secure that down yet. Maybe I'll figure that out another time. I might just sit it there. But as of right now, what we want to do is I got my torch. This is actually a weed burner that attaches to a propane tank. I'm just going to scorch the doors, make it look real good, real similar to what I did on the old shop truck. If you saw that video, that's over there. I'm going to be doing the same thing. Then we're going to clear coat it, go for the door handles, make it look really nice, really good, really proper, and just keep it moving. Man, this is looking good, dude. I really like the fact that throughout the week I'm working. On the weekends we're making improvements, but we're at the point where I can work in the shop. I'm in here, I'm working, and then it's only getting better and better and better. It's like I'm in here and we're also improving it as we go. This just cleans up the look so much. We got the door handles, everything's real good. Also got the self-closing doors, the little hinges, so while they're open, they're open. But if they're like that, they close. Just let it go, let it rock. Really nice, really solid. Now with this white plastic, I want to put some sort of a decorative edge on it because right now it's just sitting there. But we'll figure that out eventually. And this plastic is really good and really cool because if I want to clean it, just go ahead, wax and grease remover, whatever kind of cleaner. It's going to stay nice and clean, and it's just going to help. Also the fact that it's smooth. If I get dust up here, I can just brush it off to the floor or put a dustpan right on the edge, and it is looking really good. So at this point, what I gotta do right now is I gotta turn my attention back to the car because we gotta get this thing rolling. So the thing that I gotta do is I wanna put the doors back on, I wanna put the trunk back on, and I wanna finish everything that makes this a color change. So I want to paint the inside of those doors, the inside of the trunk, the underside of the hood. I'm gonna do all that, and all that will be in the next video. That video should be up Friday, I presume, maybe Saturday. I'm gonna shoot for Friday because I got some Black Friday stuff going on, some Black Friday deals. I actually just relaunched my website where I got all the merch. So if you've seen some of the new stuff that I've been wearing lately, the Flying Tiger Auto stuff is over there, as well as some of the old designs that you guys requested and loved. A couple hats, some beanies, just some really cool stuff over there. So go check that out. Check out the Patreon as well. Patreon is going to have exclusive discount codes, so if you become a Patreon member, you're going to have access to some of that stuff. Also, early access to new products, specific Patreon only instructional videos on how to paint a car. There's a lot of cool stuff over there. So I got the website, I got Patreon. Now let me get this. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. Last video we did really well. I saw a nice little boost. We want to get to 100K by the end of the year. That's what we're shooting for, and that's what's gonna happen. So thank you guys so much for watching. In the next video, we are going to get right back into the car, right back to work, and I will see you on that next one. I'm out.